Hey, all right, everybody. Mark Burgess here, Big East Bass Fishing, bringing you part 3. Yes, part 3. I know this is a long one, and it could even be longer. I could go into a lot more detail about each one of these guys for sure. But, you know, in the interest of keeping people's attention and making something, you know, that you can sit down and either listen to or watch through, I'm going to try to keep it to 3 parts. So this will be the third and final part of 2009 Bassmaster Elite Series anglers. Where are they now? And my interactions with them. Okay, so part 2, we finished up with Takh Hero Mori. And again, you know, there's just a lot more I could say about Takh Hero. Just a great angler. Of course, you know, he won the Classic. I don't know if you had a chance to see that video, but where he was, the stretch he was fishing, he was flipping a jig and again on wood, fishing wood, and the bite just stopped, and he needed like 2 or 3 more fish to fill out his limit, and he was running out of time. With minutes to go, he picked up a balsa B square bill, wooden, you know, balsa square bill, and landed like at least 2, if not 3 big fish, good quality fish. Almost didn't make it back in time. Literally had to throw in the live well. He made like 3 back-to-back casts, put those big fish in the boat, strapped down his rods, and took off, and knew that he, you know, was going to do real well, if not win that tournament. So, but yeah, just a great angler for sure. So, next up on our list, I believe it's Cliff Pace. Okay, so Cliff Pace, spent some time with Cliff because we were ski to Yamaha. I believe he is still ski to Yamaha. Not fishing bass now, has gone over to the MLF side. A lot of people don't realize he was kind of mentored by Gary Klein. And those two know each other quite well. Gary had a lot of, you know, positive things to say about Cliff, you know, after he won the Classic. There was that deal where, you know, he was in like total shock and didn't really know how to even act or respond, you know, when you win the Classic. I mean, you think about that. You just won the Bassmasters Classic. It's just, how do you act? What are you feeling? I mean, it's just, I can't even imagine. I hope to imagine, as we all do. But yeah, he, you know, there's a lot of people were, you know, critical of that. But you know, he's a great angler, down in Louisiana, South Texas, that area. Again, fishing MLF now, and continue to see a little bit more of him on social media now as well. Let's see. So we have Cliff Pace, Pete Pons, Mississippi angler. Traveled and worked with Pete Pons on the Elite Series. Camped near each other, you know, shared information, things like that. Pete, very, you know, gentleman, is fishing, not fishing the Elite Series now. I don't think he's fishing MLF. He's fishing some lower tiers. Is also getting involved more with social media now. You can find him, you know, on social media and see what he is up to. We're going to go on to move right along here. Jason Quinn. So Jason Quinn, again, fished with Jason, against Jason, you know, in the invitationals, opens, you know, FLW tour, you know, just all around. I was, you know, around when he had that giant hauler. I just recently saw it on social media where Evan Williams, you know, the tractor trailer and the NASCAR hauler, which is what it was, where he, you know, he backed his boat in underneath, ramp came down, the Tahoe Suburban went up on top, front was living quarters. Pretty cool deal, really cool deal. Very NASCAR-ish deal that he had there, for sure. Jason Quinn, Matt Reed, nice guy, just gentleman, nice guy. Was around the weigh-ins and things like that. Had a chance to, you know, talk to him interact with him like that. Always a pleasure. Not sure what he's doing now, to be honest. Takh Hero, very active on social media. Again, we fished Elite Series together. We fished against each other. We fished against each other on the Central Opens. We became good friends. I've had dinner at his house, and he's just a phenomenal angler. Down in that Rayburn, East Texas area, just, taking names, I'll tell you, numbers. Very good with his electronics. If you haven't checked it out, he's got some great stuff on social media. His Bass Academy that he does down there, if you're in that area, it's worth every minute of his time to spend in his boat, to really learn about reading electronics and fish behavior and how they set up on underwater structure, for sure. Reese. All right, everybody knows Reese. Again, great guy, always friendly, always give you a pat on the back, encouragement. Just a great angler. Obviously, he's been there, done that, won his share of tournaments, and fishing MLF now. He's a big personality, but he was a great guy to be around. Always willing to help you out. Certainly knows how to market himself and his sponsors, for sure. Okay, Reese, Derek Remitz. Hung around with Derek Remitz, through the Elite Series. He won his very first Elite Series tournament on Amistad. Got off to a really good start and was a consistent angler for a few years after that. We're on Mississippi River, Upper Mississippi River, Old Fort Madison area, where he had that boat accident. If you didn't hear about that, I talked about this tournament before. We're on the Upper Mississippi River, not a lot of options. Place was fishing really tough, and myself and a lot of other guys found this backwater deal where you had to run in off the main river in this chute, real narrow chute, through a flat and then through this heavily wooded area, a lot of floating logs and timber and stuff like that. And one morning, he ran up in there, and there was this loose log floating around, and we were all aware of it. And you're just trying to pay attention when you're running down through there. And as boats were running in, there was not enough room for boats to pass in and out. So you're running in there, and you're paying attention to where this particular log was, and it was up against the bank. Well, he ran in there. There's a few angles in front of him, and that log had floated out away from the bank, and he hit it and knocked his lower unit off. Instantly, your rudderless boat. Boat spun around, hit the bank, ejected the co-angler, Marshall, and he was severely injured in that accident that morning. We all got there and we made a pact. Geral Swindle, myself, Bill Lowen, and a bunch of other guys, which basically said, listen, no one's going up in there and going to start fishing until this gets worked out and resolved. And the Marshal was airlifted. They carried him through the woods, airlifted him out of there. And Derek was able to, get himself righted and get going. But a little scary situation for everybody involved, but especially Derek. Not fishing now that I'm aware of. And I don't think on any level, but don't quote me on that. I know he's not fishing the Elite Series and MLF, so I'm not sure what he's doing. I hope he's doing well. Jeff Reynolds, not a lot of experience with interactions, I should say, with Jeff Reynolds. Not sure what he's doing now, where he's at. Maybe you guys know. Marty Robinson, Party Marty. Again, ski to Yamaha guy. I did a lot of, team stuff with him. Just a funny guy to be around. Great family support there with him. I believe he's fishing MLF now. Dean Rojas. Dean Rojas also spent a lot of time with Dean. Again, ski to Yamaha guy, team meetings, stuff like that. Spent some time with him at one of the classics, I believe in Birmingham, talking to him there, where he's just getting going. Of course, everybody knows Dean from his record-setting 5-fish limit. Off the top of my head, 43 pounds, 7 ounces, something like that, in one live well. We used that when promoting Skeeter boats, because Skeeter had divided live wells, like separate divided live wells, 4 pumps, 2 pumps per side, and obviously freshwater fill and recirc. And so basically that's on one side of the live well, because it was fishing with when he did that, he's fishing with co-angles at that time. So setting that record. But that's kind of what launched his career, was that tournament on Toho. And he went on to win the next tournament on Toledo Bend. So he definitely carried that momentum into that. And he's fishing, from what I know, MLF at this time. Scott Rook, another really good angler. Didn't spend a lot of time hanging around with Scott. Not sure what Scott's doing at this time, what trail he's fishing, what organization he's with. Fred Urbanis. A number of interactions with Fred. I believe he's fishing MLF now. But on the Elite Series, and I'm pretty sure it was that Upper Mississippi River tournament. A lot of drama in that tournament. So we're getting ready to take off. We're in this little tiny cut off the river, 103 boats or whatever. There's not even room for half of them. Okay, so we're all stuffed in there. And as you've seen, and the way Bassmaster does their takeoffs, that everybody basically is together in the boat, life jackets on, zipped, buckled, kill switch, running lights in and on, live well lids open and running. Okay, that's the process. And you go by, the dock, and they're checking your live wells, they're checking your running lights, they're checking to make sure that your life vest is on, your kill switch is attached. They double check that what time you're due in. That kind of thing. So I'm doing that process, just coming up to the dock. Fred got distracted and literally ran over the back of my boat. I mean, I turned around and there was the bow eye for Fred's boat, right there, right over my shoulder. He just, it's tight. It was, you're trying to maneuver. And he went up over the back of the boat and knocked over my rear, my stern light. Okay. And, you're all in that, you're in that mode, excitement, getting ready to take off. And I just grabbed the thing. It was just snapped off, wires hanging out, and just grabbed the thing, threw it in the floor of the boat. Go to check out, and they're like, "Mark, you can't go until you get your stern light fixed." I'm like, oh man! Literally every service crew member, like 5 guys, all on my boat, had that new pedestal or base, not pedestal, but the light base. Wired in the new light, boom, in like a couple of minutes at best, and got me going. But that was also at the Upper Mississippi River. But yeah, that happened to Fred, so that's a little thing we keep, between us. Little memory there. Zell Roland, what a great guy. Ton of interaction with Zell. Again, Skeeter Yamaha guy for a long time. For years, known Zell since probably the mid to late 90s. And most recently, we had him up to the New England Fishing Expo in Boxborough a couple years ago. And we had a great time with the flipping contest. It came down to him and I were tied, so we had to flip off to determine who was going to win. He's really good at it, and I don't know if he let me win or not, but anyway, I think he might have, because he didn't want to fly with the trophy. Unlike Steve Kennedy, who definitely beat me and flew home with that trophy. But Zell, I think he was just being a nice guy. But anyway, we had a lot of fun with it, and I'd love to be able to get down to Texas at the, in spring and April and fish with him down there. So just a good guy. Again, not fishing the Elite Series. I think he is fishing some MLF stuff, lower tier of the MLF. Bernie Schultz, Like I say, just man, what a great guy, great angler. You know, being able to do that full time, you know, for all these years. He's a great illustrator, writer, great angler. You know, saltwater, all species really. He gets after it. He stays busy, but he's just a gentleman and a good guy to talk to. You know, again, we shared, you know, some conversations and stuff like that on the Elite Series, and of course, you know, and he's still fishing the Elite Series now, and I always wish him well. Terry Stroggins, man, I got some stories with Terry. Super nice guy, big show. Lives down near the St. John's River. You know, competing against. I remember fishing opens against him down when I was there when he won his first Bassmaster Open on St. John's River. Fished against him on the Elite Series. We had a situation where, real quick story here with show. Ron Gunnersville, and it just, I mean, there were over 50 guys. Over 50 guys had 20 pounds or more day one, okay, on Gunnersville, and the place was just on fire, okay. So I was fortunate. I had like 21 and a half pounds, and I was in 21 and a half pounds. I was in 47th place. Okay, so that I'll tell you. Couldn't wait to get back out there the second day. Second day ran right to where I was fishing, and as I was coming up to it, I could see there was a boat really close, and as I got close, that boat was right on where I was fishing. And I looked, and it was Terry. And so he looked back, he saw me, you know, I saw him, we made eye contact, you know, and I put my hands up, you know, and I knew who, you know, obviously who he was. And I was just like, Terry, you know, like, come on, really? So I was just starting to turn away, go to another spot, and he waves me over, okay? All right, go back up. I'm like, Terry, what's up? He goes, I saw you fishing there all day. I don't mean to be right on your spot. He goes, but you were close, but you really weren't on the juice. Like, all right. He goes, pull right up beside me. We were literally rub rail to rub rail. I was on his left. He's like, you see where the tree line meets the road, where the road disappears in the tree line right there? Yep. He goes, right there. Hit right where the tree line meets the road. All right. And we were throwing big deep diving crankbaits. Boom, out there. Oh, there's a 4.5 pounder. 4.5, 5. I mean, just one after the other, culling up. I get up. I needed one more good fish. They kind of stopped biting. He says, "Oh, you have." It's when you know, Bomber had come out with. It was the silent. It was the one that Timmy Horton came out with. The name's escaping me. But you basically manipulate the bait where it had rattles, and then you turned it. I still have them to this day. You turn the bait, it would lock the rattles, and it wouldn't rattle. It would go silent. Okay, so my apologies. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but he says, "You got any of those?" I'm like, "No." And I was fishing for Praggo and Yum at that point, and Bomber Booyah, and I didn't have any yet. So he goes in his boat in the compartment, takes out a box like this, big deep dive crankbait box, throws it on the deck of my boat. My marshal's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this." He throws it on the boat. I take one. He goes, no, take a half a dozen. That color there. Okay. I grab half a dozen baits, put them on my boat, throw the box back, tie on the silent one. Whoop, another cast, another 4+ pounder. Had 22 and a half pounds the second day, upgraded by a pound, and moved up to like 42nd place. Okay, only the top 50 fished day 3. Okay, so I obviously fished day 3, but that's a little interaction with Terry. Another time we're on Pickwick, and Skeet Reese's truck got broken into, my boat got broken into. They stole most of my rods and reels. Terry, I had plenty of rods, spare rods, but I didn't have enough reels. I was fishing Shimano Corrados. So left-hand retrieve, 70s, and Terry had him. He gave me a half a dozen reels to use until I could get them replaced from Shimano. That's just the type of guy he is. Just a great guy. Great guy. We're going to go way over on this deal. Marizo Shimizu. No clue. I can't say as I kind of remember him. Not a lot of interaction, and if there was, of course, I don't speak Japanese, so that would have been trouble. Kevin Short. Spent a lot of time with the Shorts, Kerry and Kevin. Camped near each other. I was fishing when Kevin won the couple of Elite Series tournaments that he won. I believe it was Pickwick, and again, it might have been that Mississippi River tournament. I believe Kevin won that. So just a nice guy. He retired from the Elite Series. He's actually sales rep for Basscat right now. And just, loving life doing that. We still, my wife and I, we still keep in touch with the Shorts to this day on regular basis. But great angler. Glad he's doing well and loving what he's doing right now. David Smith. David Smith, we know he just passed away. Big Dave. In the jewelry business, made all the rings and everything, made the belts, the century belts. Just a gentleman, just a big guy too, just a giant of a man, but always professional, always in a good mood, happy to see you. Those are my interactions with David. He rests in peace. Should just leave my glasses on here. Brian Snowden, another great guy, quiet, good angler. Interactions with him around the weigh-in, and stuff like that. Not sure what Brian's doing right now. Believe he was fishing for Pradco as well at that time. Matthew Spa. We might have been rookies on the 09, but I think he might have been there a year before me. But upstate New York. Was from New York. Ran into him a couple other times after that. I don't think he's fishing anything right now. He might be guiding in New York, maybe. And let me see. Brian Stone, Matthew Spa, Jeremy Starks. Again, I'm familiar with him. Saw him around the weigh-ins and stuff like that. Remember, he won a tournament. He beat Kevin. They were kind of both fishing similar areas, so there was a little competitive things going on there with that. That might have been Wilson Wheeler, I believe. Marty Stone, of course, everybody knows. Long-time Bassmaster angler. Elite Series fished against Marty. Is now, one of the color commentators with MLF, doing a great job with it. Very entertaining. Knows a lot about the in and outs of the sport, and happy that he's doing really well there with that. Geral Swindle, what can you say? It's exactly like you see. If you have never met Geral Swindle's Geral Swindle, okay, and that's who he is. Larger than life, big personality, funny, quick-witted, excellent angler. He is the best junk fisherman on the planet. Okay, best junk fisherman on the planet. I fish very similarly to him. Obviously he's if you can get in, develop a pattern from it, then you do that. But his style of fishing, it's very consistent. Proof to that is 2-time AOI. Okay, it's only a matter of time. I know he's won an Open. It's only a matter of time before he wins an Elite Series event or wins the Classic. Okay, it's definitely in his future without a doubt. Peter Televaros, again, been around him a long time. Chef, professional chef, and there's a funny guy, great angler. I think he's retired from the sport now. J. Todd Tucker. Spent time fishing against him. A couple different tours. I'm not sure what he's doing. He might be fishing MLF now. Mark Tucker, I believe, just passed away. Again, super nice guy, great angler. Again, not a lot of interaction, with him other than around, the weigh-in sites. Mark Tyler, again, not a lot of interaction with Mark. At the time I was fishing, I'm not sure what Mark's doing now. Kevin Van Dam. I have a bunch of Kevin Van Dam stories. I did a video about Kevin Van Dam when he announced his retirement. What can you say? I mean, what can you say? And he's all of that and then some. His work ethic, attention to detail, his style of fishing, how he conducts himself. It's just the epitome of a bass pro, really. I mean, he was born to do that. I can't imagine Kevin Van Dam doing anything else than what he's done. And he retired, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna see, as he said, he's not done. I'm pretty sure you're gonna see he's gonna be in some kind of a, he's gonna have some kind of educational thing, TV show, something big. I mean, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I know Zona knows about it. So we should see here soon enough, 2024. Byron Velvick. People know him obviously as an angler from down at Amistad. He has a place down there. That resort that he bought with the money that he made on The Bachelor. He was the first Bachelor, okay? Incredible angler, but he's done well in the sport. But that people know him two different ways, as The Bachelor and as, Byron Velvick, the Elite Series angler, winning big tournaments on swim baits and the resort down on Amistad, which I think he still owns. But not sure what Byron's doing now. Greg Vincent, former Major League Baseball player, pitcher, I believe. Again, good guy, nice guy. Just normal interactions around the weigh-in sites, things like that. Dustin Wilkes has his own TV show now on the Outdoor Channel, Fishing with Dustin Wilkes, I believe. Great angler, soft-spoken, just super nice guy. Again, was one of the people that I've spent some time with on the Elite Series. Check out he's got a lot on social, and certainly on the Outdoor Channel. Check out his TV show there. Jason Williamson, Big Willie, J. Willie, I think they believe they call him. But Fishing Elite Series, not a lot of interaction with him. Of course, seeing him, around the weigh-in sites and so forth. Kevin Worth, former jockey, great angler. He's since retired. One of the only thing I think we were fishing Pickwick one time, and I chose to lock up into Wilson, and it was only like 11 boats chose to lock up into Wilson, and I located them. They were spawning, but you couldn't see them. And people were telling me, my buddies were telling me, oh, you're wasting your time, you're making a huge mistake going up there, you should stay down on Pickwick. I locked up, and I was locking up with Kevin Worth, Skeet Reese, Kevin Van Dam, just to name a few. Okay, so I wasn't the only one who thought that that was worth doing. Take some time. That's the second largest lock in the world. So, but I remember talking to him. We were kind of bouncing around doing a kind of similar thing up there. It's not that big a lake. Wilson in between Pickwick and Wheeler. Okay. Dave Wolak, great guy. Former ski instructor, or maybe is now. Not sure what Dave's doing. I've met Dave a long time ago. I actually gave him his first boat deal when I was a Yamaha rep, a Skeeter rep, through RJ Marine. Lived down in Pennsylvania. Met his wife, who was his girlfriend at that time. Now they got I believe they got a son who's also into skiing. I see that going on social media. Dave is a great angler. He's won a couple tournaments up on Champlain. Just a solid guy. And then last but certainly not least, Mike Worm. Again, super nice guy. Interactions with him, around the weigh-in site and meetings and things like that, pre-tournament meetings and whatnot. Been around a long time. Great angler. Not sure what Mike's doing at this point. So I have no idea how long this is right now. but I don't want to apologize, I guess, but I know how, difficult long videos can be to watch. So anyone who's watched them all, I thank you very much. I know I get it. But I appreciate everybody checking it out. I hope it was somewhat entertaining. Even with 3 parts, it's rushed, I could, like I said, I have a lot more I could talk about each one of these guys but again, I appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing and checking it out, and we'll see you on the next one.